The following WCIA News Special is brought to you by S&K Buick GMC, the McDonald Group, Copper Creek Contractors, and the U of I Community Credit Union. Now honoring teachers with Celebrating Central Illinois. Here is your host, Amanda Brennan.
Good evening, I'm Amanda Brennan. Teachers are an important part of all of our lives, no matter how old you are. In kindergarten, they're helping us to learn our numbers and ABCs. Then that impact follows us along our educational journeys. Tonight, we continue celebrating Central Illinois with a special all about outstanding teachers. We begin tonight in Rantoul, where this educator is spreading the love with every student who enters her classroom. Sheena Calhoun has always wanted to be a teacher. Now she's living out her dream in the same town that raised her.
Oh man, there is never a dull moment.
And that's just the way Sheena Calhoun likes it.
Come stir your sauce. Make sure the sauce is okay.
She's a special education teacher at Rantoul Township High School.
Honestly, my favorite part about working with them is seeing them grow and seeing them develop skills that they may not have necessarily had when they came in.
Sometimes that's learning how to cook.
Air fryer?
Tonight.
Other times honing in on softer skills and mental health.
And you have some kids that come to school and they're looking for love or they need love.
She wants to be the one bridging the gap.
I want them to have a sense of who they are, and I want them to know that they have someone in their corner that believes in them.
One way to get there, the hygiene closet. She put it together with community support.
These are basic needs that you would think that oh, they have deodorant or they have, but there's a lot of our population that they don't have that.
These shelves of body wash bottles and toothbrushes lift a weight off of family shoulders, relieving stressors along the way. It doesn't end there.
So many people just donated clothes right to left.
What started as a rack of clothes for students who needed nice outfits for interviews turned into a regular clothing event.
We call it a little thrift store. So every Wednesday during office hours, the kids will come in and they can shop for free, get whatever they need.
The clothing and emotions, both priceless.
They come in and they're like, oh my goodness, Miss Calhoun, we've had someone donate really nice Jordans. And they're like, you got Jordans in here?
No matter what, Calhoun knows she's exactly where she needs to be with her kids.
As long as I'm getting to some of these kids and I'm showing them I'm here, that's what matters.
And in Mahomet, Tracy Patterson has a similar mission. She's also a special ed teacher and works with older students aged 18 to 22. They've graduated high school, have jobs in the community, and focus on the transition to adulting in her class. It's a job she's absolutely fallen in love with, and her passion is contagious when you see her working with the students.
A girl lawyer.
I always say I have the best job in this district, and I really believe, because it's so important what I do, what we all do as a team, not just me. We have a whole team of people, and what we all do for these kids is just everything. It just really sets them up for success, and that's what's really important to me.
One of the many activities they focus on actually happens in the kitchen. That's where they regularly make dog treats like these. It's called the Bulldog Barkery, and they're later delivered to teachers within the district. One Champaign County woman has been teaching for 25 years, and out of all the grades she has taught, why second is her favorite. Plus, this classroom is full of students who are kids and adults. What's the benefit of being the teacher and student?
Celebrating Central Illinois continues, honoring teachers.
When you hear the word preschool, your mind might go to young kids learning about shapes, colors, and numbers. But what if we told you there's also a preschool class over on the U of I campus, not only focused on the little ones, but the next generation of teachers too? Tonight, I'm taking you to the unique space on campus. Let's take a look inside Jamie Smith's classroom. It's not just for preschoolers, but college kids too.
Are you trying to do some more measuring, Charlie? I feel like preschool in particular is just kind of like my niche of the area because I just really enjoy the age group. And then how many markers do you need?
Miss Jamie works with 3 to 5-year-olds every day at the Child Development Lab on the University of Illinois campus.
I enjoy being able to have conversations and really fostering their independence and their learning environment.
She's focused on getting them ready for kindergarten.
And we want to set those social, emotional, foundational skills, how to talk to each other, how to, develop friendships, how to solve like conflicts with one another.
Find something that weighs less than 6 cubes.
But she's also working hand in hand with college students, getting them ready to fill her shoes one day.
We also made a portfolio of a specific child, so we're taking anecdotes about them, kind of observing their behavior and their development throughout the semester.
And they are, again, learning just how to work with children. And some of them, I am really giving them, hands-on experience, guidance.
Can I look at it? Yeah.
Kelsey McCullen is a junior studying speech and hearing science.
She is always just, hey, help me here, or here's this, and just giving me advice on everything. And just watching her interact with the kids has really helped me know how to interact with them too.
And going back to preschool is paying off in the long run.
So I kind of want to work in hospitals, help kids and their families when they're recovering from, traumatic experiences, and a lot of that is done through play.
While also focusing on the unique curriculum the little ones are picking up on every day.
Right now they're really interested in vehicles. So we are starting kind of like a whole vehicle exploration, investigation kind of thing. And Odin, are you working on another vehicle, or are you working on a different drawing this time?
No matter the age, she'll always support her students in and out of the classroom. Well, from preschool to kindergarten, the first time little ones are leaving the house and embarking on a lifetime of learning ahead. The transition can be tough for parents, but if you have somebody like Mrs. Broom teaching your students, I think you'll be a little bit calmer. She has been a teacher for over 2 decades, 12 of those in kindergarten. She knows it's her job to start them on a positive and fun learning journey in Monticello. Each day, she thinks back to a saying she learned just a few years ago.
That everything you ever needed to know you learned in kindergarten, and it's mostly true. You learn to line up, you learn to have lunch, you learn to walk in the hall, share, be kind, read and write. I want them to recognize that learning is fun and have that same positive example that I was given, and for them to be able to carry that with them.
She knows these things are all things that are bound to help the little ones as they grow into the people they're set to become. Well, from Monticello, now over to Mahomet, where this second grade teacher has been in the world of education for 25 years. But get this, she never imagined herself in a career path like this one. Mrs. Raver originally studied advertising at U of I, but went back to school after thinking about some of the roles her teachers played in her life while growing up.
Old, add g. Age, add pa. But a lot of them are moving from that learning to read to reading to learn.
Jana Raver at Middletown Prairie Elementary in Mahomet is helping her second graders get there.
And says,
She's taught many different grade levels over the last 25 years, but this age is one of her favorites.
As their teacher, that's really motivating for me. That's what makes second grade kind of my sweet spot, per se, because I'm giving them the tools that they need developmentally to reach that next step with their reading.
But outside of hitting the books, learning comprehension and phonics skills, they're also developing a sense of independence.
We have structure and routine. They're given a lot of responsibility. They take ownership in their role within the classroom.
Watching the students grow and have light bulb moments they pass along to each other is one thing keeping her motivated.
So look back in the text if you need to. The other piece that I really love is seeing them when they have that concept or that skill and they're excited to go and teach a peer, especially those students that have maybe struggled with a concept.
And while it's bittersweet, this year is coming to a close.
Every August, it's kind of like Christmas. You have that excitement, that anticipation as to, who's going to be in your class next year, and just the excitement of, that every new year brings.
During school hours, one Ford County teacher is breaking down big numbers, but once the day ends, many call him coach. What he says is rewarding about the job. Plus,
After we came back from the pandemic, we were starting from scratch.
Despite that, she and her students put on a show for the first time in years. How the outstanding Decatur drama teacher was able to get it done. Whether you play an instrument or not, you probably remember the days of elementary music class, learning the classic Hot Cross Buns on the recorder or singing a catchy tune. Well, I remember those exact days when Mrs. Donovan was my teacher in Chicagoland almost 20 years ago. I stepped back into grade school just a few weeks ago when I visited her newer classroom in Gifford.
Ready? 1, 2, and elbows go! Right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, left.
Welcome to Mrs. Donovan's music class.
Left.
Where, just as the song says,
it's very open, it's very playful.
Having a classroom of her own is always something she's dreamed of.
Down and then up. Music has just been so ingrained since I was born that it's been forever. It's just part of me.
Now Mrs. Donovan is passing that passion to the next generation of students at Gifford Grade School.
You got it. Oh, I heard it. Do it again. When we're making music, it's not just about the music, it's about who they are as children and who they're going to become as adults.
Teamwork is a big part of creating a musical masterpiece. 2 of her 7th graders notice that every day.
When you put in all the work to put for a difficult song, it's cool to see how they all come together.
No matter if you make mistakes or anything, you can always fix them. It's not that hard to fix them.
And with the younger ones,
I like music because I like to sing a lot. I like the dance we did because of the bump.
Donovan has been teaching for 27 years.
Every day is different, every day is unique, and I get to see the kids grow from kindergarten. For 9 years, I get to watch them grow.
And seeing that growth is one of her favorite parts of the job.
It just gives them joy, and I hope that 30 years from now, that part of them will continue. And just like I learned music from my mom, I hope that they continue to sing someday to their children when they have children.
Now on to Macon County. That's where this teacher took a drama club with no money, no lighting, and a costume closet filled with mice and turned it into a welcoming space for her students. By day,
I teach mostly world history, which is a sophomore level class.
But when after school rolls around,
so you 3 are going to put your story together, and you have to use the 3 items that you have picked.
Brittany Huff is breaking students out of their shells and trying something new in drama club at MacArthur High School.
We could do a puppet show, or if you wanted to act it out.
It wasn't an easy path to get them on stage.
After we came back from the pandemic, we were starting from scratch.
That means working with students with no theater experience, having broken lighting equipment, and
our costumes and our props we found rats had got into, so it was just one thing after the other. There were points where I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore, but these kids were so excited about it, and so I felt like, okay, so if we've got another obstacle, we're going to figure out what the next way to overcome that would be.
The answer? A grant from the Decatur Foundation helping turn the club around.
And I really feel like I have the ability to help these kids and just help them grow, not only as students, but as people.
In March, the club put on a performance for the first time in 5 years.
It was awesome. Again, it was most of their first time on stage, and it was a little bare bones compared to some of the other shows, but the kids did awesome, and it really gave them a chance to shine, and I was super proud of all of them.
From the classroom to the stage, Huff will always be proud of her students.
And I've spent a lot of time in my teaching really focusing on caring for the individual first and then the academic side of the student. The most important thing for me is that you are a better person, though, when you leave the classroom.
Well, teaching, like any job, can have its rough days. You can be working long hours, balancing a big to-do list, and thinking about things outside of work. Well, for one math teacher in Ford County, he not only does all of that, but he has a packed calendar after school too, but it doesn't bother him. In fact, this is something Robbie Dinkins has always wanted to do.
Back in Wilmington, where I'm from, I was asked to volunteer at a youth camp for basketball.
And that's exactly what started it all for this math teacher in Gibson City.
And we're going to be working with volume, okay? And the volume formula is just going to be B equals base times height.
Robbie Dinkins has been inspiring young minds in his classroom the last 12 years.
The end goal is for them to be ready for high school because they're 8th grade students.
But on an even bigger level, he wants to create a comfortable space for his students,
where they can just go through like every day and just be like, hey, he's going to be able to help me like on these problems. I'm not afraid to raise my hand because we're all learning something new.
One way to get there, bright lights lining the walls, jerseys hanging along the sides, and showing off some of his favorite sporting moments.
They're all talking points. Like, for instance, you talk about the sports things here. We'll always have questions about, hey, where'd you get this from? Or, that's my cousin. It's so relatable to have these things.
The excitement doesn't end in the classroom. He wears many hats, including bus driver and coach.
I own the bus. Me and my father renovated it, and we drove that around to go camping and whatnot.
But when a need arose,
I was asked as the co-op for Fisher if I would be willing to drive to make it easier on the people that were at the bus barn.
So he drives his athletes to and from some of their games and practices.
I ended up coaching 5 seasons throughout the year.
Right now, he's locked in on middle school track.
This is a big week for us. We got sectionals on Saturday. So it keeps me very busy. That is my hobby. That's what I always tell people. That is something I just love to do.
Falcons! He's getting the group ready to compete at a state level.
Levi, you're tight. You're tight. You're tight.
While always building relationships and leading various drills.
Then you have those kids that will come back and visit you here or reach out when they need help, and I think that is the best thing about teaching, and the most rewarding thing is those kids are going to come back and talk to you.
It's truly a full circle moment for him after finding his passion for teaching while coaching as a teen and still fueling that drive today.
I'm so thankful for the people that I have been mentored by, because I try to be as good as what they are.
It's because of them, his students, the athletes, and all the teachers around him at GCMS Middle School.
It's fun, and I love coming to work every day.
And on his back wall of sporting memorabilia, he makes sure to always include previous students who have gone on to play at the collegiate level and beyond. It's something he'll always be proud of. Well, one Champaign County 4th grade classroom unexpectedly lost one of their own.
Easton was just the best kid. Kind, caring, creative, smart, funny.
How the teacher, students, and family have come together to recognize his life. Mrs. Birch strives to make her 4th grade classroom welcoming and relaxing. And you'll understand why when you see this desk, the artwork, and their green shirts. In the fall, all of their lives changed when a classmate was killed. Easton Wilsey's mom didn't hesitate to nominate Mrs. Birch for her support over the past few months.
Loss, sadness, guilt, love, because until you go through something like this, you just have no idea how many people love you.
Brooke Wilsey will never forget September 8th, 2023. It's the day her life changed, her pride and joy stripped away. A train hit and killed her son, 9-year-old Easton Wilsey, on his way to school.
Easton was just the best kid. Kind, caring, creative, smart, funny.
He was looking forward to a whole year ahead of him with 4th grade teacher Debbie Birch.
Nice. What is it, guys? Frankfurt.
But after the first day of school, I said, "How was your first day? What did you think of Miss Birch?" She goes, "She's great. She's so nice. It's going to be a great year, Mom."
But instead,
she's shown up for my family. She's shown up for these kids. They're their number one priority.
Your mama heart kicks in.
Mrs. Birch is prioritizing mental health in her classroom now more than ever.
Oh, if it's too overwhelming, we're just going to stop. And we've done that many times. We just push the desks back, we get out those blankets, and we just talk.
She makes sure their emotions and feelings are noticeable, and she's there for them.
And what's the abbreviation? AR.
While connecting with the students on an emotional level, Mrs. Birch has bonded with the community in a whole new way, too.
I've tried to reach out to these families when I see something, whether it's like as a group, letting the parents know, hey, I'm noticing this, or, we're going to take our time even more so through this because, they're just struggling a little bit.
But there's no family she's connected with more than the Wilseys. Mrs. Birch took Easton's love of art and worked with her class to keep that part of him alive.
So she had all the kids draw pictures, and she had it made into a quilt. because she wanted to make sure that I had something to wrap up in on Christmas morning because he wasn't going to be there. That meant the world to me.
Brooke still volunteers in the classroom and spends time with other fourth graders.
I came in, I had signed up for Halloween goodie bags because that was his favorite holiday. And I love a good goodie bag. I'm really good at it. So I wanted to make sure that I did that, you know? So I came into the party, I brought the goodie bags, and I'm like delivering them to each desk, and I didn't know it was there.
She's talking about Easton's desk.
As much as sadness that he wasn't, I knew he was. He was still a part of them. And I know it makes them feel good, so it meant a lot.
Students leave little notes when they want to share something with him.
He's a part of them and always will be. We talk about how we think that he would like each project, or ag in the classroom, like what he would like about that.
It's one of the things helping with the healing process as they continue coming together and sharing happy memories.
So creative and just wanted to put his heart into everything.
And no matter what happens, Mrs. Birch, the Wilsies, and the entire community will always have a lifelong bond.
They know that, and they know that my heart is with them, and that I'm not just their teacher. I'm their friend and someone they can count on.
That only takes a kind and courageous person to do that for these kids when she's probably holding in so much of her own as well.
And the support doesn't stop there. Look at this. Easton's birthday just a few weeks ago. The class dedicated a bench on the playground in honor of him. They also celebrated him with pizza and cupcakes. Well, over the last 30 minutes, we featured just a few outstanding teachers in Central Illinois. They have a passion in the classroom and they want to see their students succeed. We hope to feature even more in the future. Thanks for joining us and have a good night.
This has been Celebrating Central Illinois, Honoring Teachers. Brought to you by S&K Buick GMC, the McDonald Group, Copper Creek Contractors, and the U of I Community Credit Union.